Abusia yenchia na yensanso ema kwaba emre channel so we ha abusia for eda so aye be media GH eye attorney general eye Dominic Anyini na abusia ene wadi nkomo ede afa eye Pwalugu dam ho na abusia odi nkomo no wiye no de ensem na abusia oto ede emane eye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia yes de ensem na oto emane eye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia a efa eye Pwalugu dam I stand to be corrected eye $2 million project abusia yenti enkoma chesa Attorney General de Babonten this time that's why be media GH be so say ena dey connect to channel so e be so so be subscribe like na wabo anso share ma for person no be eti no anya bi eti yenti enkoma e course so emase
yeah Attorney General ko granty interview ewo A1 FM ewo apa is daybreak jumedi so na episode di nkomo bi wo na nkoma Attorney General ko di no is about Pwalugu dam na episode in the year 2020 Bawumia aye Dr. Bawumia eko jumedi e frɛ no aye ekosi sense obi ene hosting no bi sɛ north na ofri project ben na maye no ka hwɛ since independence the biggest project o maye no north Pwalugu dam which is $2 million. I stand to be corrected say the biggest progress MPP aye no north or no Bawumia free ho na aboho ache since independence Pwalugu dam yenkotie sa nkomo wi na emna Attorney General enkomo no so na me de follow step by step aba be ka asem bia kire wa Attorney General interview koye no Upper East daybreak A1 FM so na fa credit 21st of almost no first for den kotie Bawumia ekosi sen 2020 bisanze project ben na MPP aye ewo no fa odi ho nkomo
and amono in the northern part of our country where you come from, and Amono, can you beat your chest and say, yeah, yet this signature project in the north?
I think here the most important project in the north since independence, Pwalugu dam project.
Okay,
is the biggest investment. Say we're drawing books no since independence.
Okay, as I watch it.
How I check government be by say Pwalugu dam. But we're here as a signature project and in Ebeda number one. So there's no doubt about that. Pwalugu dam, no, it's.
A few moments later,
I have no doubt in my mind that I was championing the Pwalugu dam. We have not yet been able to do it, but by the grace of God, I believe we are going to do the Pwalugu dam. It has to be done. It's a major priority because that can bring 20,000 hectares into cultivation.
In the northern part of our country where you come from, and Amono, can you beat your chest and say, yeah, yet this signature project in the north?
I think here the most important project in the north since independence, Pwalugu dam project.
Okay,
is the biggest investment. Say we're drawing books no since independence.
Okay, as I watch it.
How I check government be by say Pwalugu dam. But we're here as a signature project and in Ebeda number one. So there's no doubt about that. Pwalugu dam, no, it's.
A few moments later,
I have no doubt in my mind that I was championing the Pwalugu dam. We have not yet been able to do it, but by the grace of God, I believe we are going to do the Pwalugu.
Abusian fast forward. Omu release iska edico project we mu. Emma project no I stand to be corrected by $2 million. Na edico project we mu. Na ekoye no Bawumia edije campaign edibo approach him say omo aye jumadi kese ewo north Pwalugu multi-purpose dam. Abusian na Mustafa Gbandi ono so the 5K men edin komo make expose unrelated to Pwalugu dam because Bawumia me hu so my Pwalugu dam actually ya be discover hu say Pwalugu dam omo nyanye Pwalugu dam yes omo release ka fans ko side but Pwalugu dam omo nyanye ben while Bawumia assure so omaye na yenkoti Mustafa Malik Basintali ono so nkomo a odifa Pwalugu Dam any expose any checks or drop it on ground.
You see, our pursuit in this particular matter will not be like other matters we have already spoken about. Our pursuit in this matter is going to be a fight for the will of God and a fight for the will of the people. We are going to ensure that the last pursuer in this particular matter is retrieved. I say this passionately because lives have been lost, and many lives may be lost in the coming days. People go through hell. People's properties get missing. In Bawumia's hometown, his region, the northeast region, just last 2 years, a whole community on the Nalergu road were displaced. In fact, they had to bring their mattresses and everything to the main road, and they slept there for weeks before the water levels reduced. People in the Yape Kosogo have left their homes, especially in Bipe, because of the water that flows through. People along the northern regions. And this project was going to ensure that persons in 7 regions benefit, if not for anything, but at least whenever the spillage is done, it will be diverted into the dam so that lives, properties, and what have you will not be lost. But if Alhaji Bawumia thinks that after all the northern region has done for you, this is the best way you pay us, by ensuring that monies meant for a project in your own hometown will be stolen, shared, unaccounted for in this manner, then I dare say that he will be punished dearly for this. The North never forgets, and we will never forget how he led the insensitivity. What pains my heart is that he was there with Mr. Akufo-Addo to cut sword for this project. He was there again to lie to us that monies were not flowing in this project, only for us to finally know that monies had been paid and they had shared our monies like granules. When I got to Kurugu, I wept when I looked at the community.
Na abusuya fast for lastly ni say Attorney General akodi nkomo na nkomo Attorney General akodi in related to Pwalugu Dam no Echema omo 2020 we receive draft 2026 we receive drafter obe make sure say Bawumia will face prosecution and I say obe standing against trial now omahu no cre how funds was released and how the former vice president Asho Ghana for say oma emoti purpose Pwalugu Dam in the history of our independence project back kasi MPPI ewo no for nabusia fast forward no ye monrem ne yenkotie Attorney General head draft or receive ye ne doctor wanya or say obefale for Pwalugu Dam ewo abroku piemo daybreak ewo upper east interview or granting or no na me sure say was subscribe no hit notification bell no so tell me a bedroll pay video biano we sabe ka bien ko tie Attorney General Akritinga enkoma odiye.
General completion of the road. Do you have any updates on that road?
Not specific, but the contractor was instructed to get back to remobilize and get back to site. The contractor came briefly, and I thought that they were still on site. So I was surprised to come home only to find that they are not on site. So I will have to make an inquiry about that then get back. To you.
Albert Asakere says, please inform Honorable Ayine that we love the work you are doing for Mother Ghana, but they should please prioritize the affairs of the Upper East region than they are doing. Upper East has been so quiet about the big push action, and he says the Upper East must be developed under this NDC regime, or it never will be. And he also continues to say, we have seen the big push turn the South into a construction site, but not the North. Why?
Okay, well, I don't think that is true.
Okay,
that's not a fair statement. The big push is a countrywide, agenda. All right, and there are northern projects, there are northern, roads that have been that are part of the big push. So, for instance, the or Tumu Bolga, section has been awarded, and construction is ongoing. All right, in the Savannah region, the link between the savannah and the north, all right. Then also the Eastern Corridor Road, which is going to serve us very well because it cuts the distance from, Accra to, Tamale by 4 hours and so on. It's on it. And I do know that the Bolga Central all the way to the Pwalugu and then, the another one from Pwalugu all the way to Tamale is also part of the big push. I think Mawum's construction is going to do the dualization of Bolga, the Bolga Central from the Mobile, the Fountain Gate Church, all the way to the Pwalugu Bridge, and beyond is going to.
Vitus says, please remember that the primary reason for which we voted for you to represent as Bolga East in Parliament and fight for the development of the district. Fast service facility and what your plans are for it around the timber market. So the Gambilgo Bridge and fast service.
Yeah, well, the Gambilgo Bridge, it was awarded under the MPP.
Yes.
Some significant work was done.
Yes.
Actually, I started the process, in my first term.
Okay.
Then when I lost, it became stalled until I think the second term of the MPP. They gave it out as a contract. I noticed that they had done a significant work, and then all of a sudden, as usual, they abandoned it. So it's one of the legacy projects that I am working on, with the road minister to ensure that it is completed. If I come back to the studio and you ask me, oh, this person has thrown in his hat, what do you think of him? I'll be able to say something, But at this point in time, I don't think that we should be having a discussion about succession. We should be more interested in the welfare enhancing programs of the government than in who is going to succeed His Excellency.
Right. The Pwalugu multipurpose dam.
Yes, I am working on that. I actually got a draft legal opinion, from one of the lawyers in my office. Okay. That was assigned to that. I got it in December.
Okay.
So we are going to, certainly come out, with something. If you look at it, the government of the day did not, they did not do well. You don't throw $12 million at a contractor and go to sleep. But that's what they did. Because if you say you are paying them mobilization, you pay the mobilization, $12 million, and then you don't, then you go to sleep. That is not very helpful. All right, so someone has to be held accountable, ultimately. And so that is what we are doing.
Doc, your constituents are listening. Your final message and thoughts to them. And I live on social media, and I thought that one thing was interesting. There were more people who would have been surprised.
And that is the approach that my office is trying to use. But we know that we don't have 6 years, to be able to do this. We have a mandate of 4 years. And in my case, spending 4 years to investigate one crime doesn't make any sense because I must account for the results within during the next electoral cycle. So I have to work as fast as possible. And so far, without meaning to be boastful, no Attorney General in the history of our Fourth Republic has filed more cases involving public sector corruption than I have done, so far.
How many total now?
Well, so in total we have done, I think about 6 or 7 cases have been filed. We have Kwabena Edubohi, we have Hanan, that's the buffer stock,
yes,
we have SkyTrain, we have 2 or 3 national service, cases and so on. So, and I'm going to be filing some, at the beginning of this year, as I announced, much earlier. So, definitely we are on course, all right? Of course, the speediness of the trial depends. Most of the time now, it will depend on the judiciary. Okay. All right. So, for instance, if I file the case, I have my evidence ready and so on. It will depend on the judiciary. So, if you have a situation where there are long adjournments being allowed by the judges, then the cases will drag on. But in most of the cases, the evidence that I have gathered is watertight. All right. I don't want to say a lot of things on radio, go into the specifics, but I have, I've done a meticulous job with my team, especially at EOCO and then National Intelligence Bureau, you know, to make sure that we have very good dockets that are placed before the judges. And so hopefully this year will be different. Results will start pouring in, and I believe that Ghanaians will begin to realize that is, we've done a very good job.
What would be an acceptable outcome for oral? You've engaged the public largely on these issues, and like you said, you have seen the expectations that people have.
Right.
What would happen for people to have considered oral as successful, in your opinion?
Well, from everything that I have seen and I've heard and read about, people expect, first of all, that there's full accountability.
Okay.
And by full accountability, I mean that people are going to jail, and then I'm also recovering the loot that was, that was involved in any of the transactions, the subject matter of the prosecutions. So I think that is why they expect full accountability. And I'm saying this because you remember at some point in time, I said to the Ghanaian public that I was very much open to striking deals, plea deals with those who are on the trial. And I was saying so against the background of the plea bargaining law. That, well, there is a law that says that, if you have committed a crime and you are undergoing trial and you want the charges dropped, or you want to plead to a lesser offense, in exchange for your freedom, then you can apply to the court to do so, and you can also apply to the Attorney General, outside the court process, to be able to take advantage of the plea deal. So I was saying that, look, I'm open-minded. I don't want to shut my doors to the possibility of someone saying that, look, I know that I have committed this offense. I want to plead to a lesser offense, or I want to bring back what I've looted in exchange for walking free. And I got roasted on social. I got roasted on mainstream media.
Very much so.
The Global Info Analytics did a survey of Ghanaians, and they said they were disappointed, because I was willing, to let the criminals go, without going to jail and so on and so forth. So I had to change my attitude to that.
Okay.
Not that